This man came up to the desk, and he had this painting in a cardboard box, and he kept pulling it up and down. And I noticed that there was a foam core in front of it. And every time he pulled it up, I would see more and more of that magnificent sky. Finally, I said, "Get the painting out of that box and stop putting it back in and out of that box before you get it damaged." And he did. And it was more than I could have dreamed of. It was a fabulous late 19th century Remington portrait. You're the first for me. I've never reprimanded a guest for manhandling a painting before.
I'm glad you're taking care of my painting.
I'm trying to. So what can you tell me about this lovely Frederic Remington portrait?
Well, Lee Febriger was my great-grandfather.
That is this gentleman.
This is this gentleman.
Yes.
And he was a friend of Frederic Remington, who in 1896 painted his portrait as part of a military series in El Paso.
And he was captain in the infantry.
Captain,
yes.
right, infantry.
As you know, Frederic Remington is one of the most important Western artists of the turn of the century. He didn't have a tremendous amount of training, but a natural instinct for the vitality and the style of the West. And this portrait is a terrific example of that. It also comes with this letter from Remington to your great-grandfather.
Right.
The letter was Remington speaking to the sitter and how much he enjoyed their time together. And there was a lot of meat in it, which is really what you want. There was no anonymity to it at all. It was personal for Remington, and it was personal for the sitter. When Remington died, and I think people will be surprised that he died in his mid-40s from an appendix operation that didn't go well. When he died, this painting was in his home in upstate New York. His home and studio in upstate New York became the Frederic Remington Museum. And the family of the sitter tracked down the painting to be there. And they went to the museum and said, you know, hey, this is our folk. We would really love to have this painting. The family came into negotiations with the group, and in the late 1940s were able to get the painting. Now, you had this appraised a while ago, correct?
I did.
And what was the value at that point?
It was in 1960s, and the value was $7,500.
Well, the years have been kind to you and Frederic Remington. The letter itself is worth probably about $2,000.
Really?
Yeah. He really is an iconic figure in American painting. And this piece with the very dashing figure, the beautiful shadow, the abstracted landscape behind, it's really a wonderful example of Remington's work at the turn of the century. And this piece together with the letter would be something that I would value at auction between $600,000
Oh my goodness.
and $800,000.
I was hoping I would be wildly exuberant. I am.
And certainly for insurance at in excess of $800,000.
My goodness.
I think he knew it was valuable. I think he may have been thinking around $30,000, $25,000, $30,000, but not that level. I can only speculate that he came home, told his family what it's worth, and they said, get it out of here, because something like that is subject to any sort of mayhem in a private home. And it's much safer in a museum. He had the painting restored, professionally restored, and it's now in the Birmingham, Alabama Museum for everyone to see. The market has gone up for Western art, and the market is still very strong for Remington. And in today's market in 2019, I would value the painting between $800,000 and $1.2 million.